New policing in Prichard changing the course of that city, and the community is now taking notice.
It's this morning's reality check. Local 15's Jasmine Williams had an exclusive ride-along with the police. Wait till you see this.
Unprecedented access. We went behind the scenes with the police on the streets in Prichard like never before. Should we be concerned for our safety? A ride-along so risky, we were required to suit up and wear bulletproof vests as officers took us to some of the hot spots, the most crime-ridden areas in the community. For us, this ride was considered out of the ordinary.
These are the areas where stuff happens at, where you have to watch for them hiding things.
For Sergeant Robert Martin and his crew, this was another shift. Their trip started with a prayer, and as dusk fell, the search began for criminals.
Well, basically what we do is we just hit areas that we normally have a high volume of calls in, and we tend to concentrate in those areas.
Officers focusing in on the Gulf Village community, Ridge Manor, Alabama Village, along with the many gas stations and convenience stores. A seemingly easy task, but as it got darker, the ride became rougher. Within an hour, we were on the ride of our lives, a high-speed chase through the city, our hearts racing.
Now you're not speaking.
Speeds upwards of 90 miles an hour, police in full force doing what they do best, chasing after the criminals.
They wrecked out over here off of Moffett Road on Garland Street, where they struck another vehicle. So this was a good pursuit, and at the end we caught a felony and took a felony off the street.
The chase that ended in a crash with an arrest, thankfully no injuries, and while we were terrified.
Drug paraphernalia, drugs and guns, a deadly combination.
The ride continued. In comparison to other local departments, Prichard PD is short-staffed and underpaid, but they are still responsible for keeping these streets safe. Hotspot policing focusing on areas demographics deemed dangerous. Sporadic patrolling aimed to catch criminals in the act and get illegal guns and drugs off the streets.
This is what you call a cert mixture. You got your Fanta strawberry drink, and then they just pour liquid narcotics in there, and they drink it. So this is what people do out here on the streets. And this is what we're trying to get off the streets.
But is it working? Once the night was over, the sun rose again, and we took that question to the new man in charge, Prichard Police Chief Walter Knight, taking a proactive approach to changing the stigma associated with this city.
Some of the crime has dropped.
Year to date, Prichard Police have investigated nearly a dozen homicides, a slew of violent crimes, many unsolved. Compared to last year, Knight said things have improved. Crime trends are shifting, and overall, the city is headed in the right direction.
We're trying to bridge that trust gap between the community and law enforcement.
Along with the typical challenges cops face, they're dealing with the stigma and nationwide animosity brewing between police and the community.
I actually want the people to have faith in the police here.
Bridging the gap requires dedicated staff, many shifts, and police response. A plan that is already in action. Reporting in Prichard, Jasmine Williams, Local 15 News.
That night, Prichard police made 2 arrests and seized drugs and guns.
Again, thankfully, nobody was injured.
If you have a story you want us to investigate or an issue that needs to be addressed by our advocacy team, let us know. We'll get you answers.
Call our reality check hotline. That number is 877-315-7268.